Hello everyone, welcome to the first video of the channel of Titan AI. Today we're going to talk about how to use NAN to extract client quotation information from incoming emails and convert it directly into CSV files. Many companies receive numerous complex emails every day containing product names, quantities, company info, or even large quanting problems. Doing this by hand is super time consuming and creates a lot of error and problems. With NAN autoflow work, you can significantly reduce many workflow and increase efficiently often in just a few minutes. Next, I will walk you through a practical example on how to set up this automation step by step. Alright, to demonstrate this feature, let's assume we just received a brand new email. We then open NAN. We pretend this newly arrived email has all sorts of weird requests inside. So how do we do this with NAN? First, we Google NAN, land on a website, and log in. Anyone can register for their own account. Next, we click Create Workflow to add a new personal workflow. Our first step is turning an incoming email into a CSV file, so we need an email trigger. Then we hit Create New Credentials. Here, you enter your own email address as an example. However, you can't just use your email's regular password. Instead, you need something called an app password. It sounds fancy, but it's more about security. You can search for app password setup to find guidance on how to set it up. It requires a two-factor verification process, which basically means more clicks and fancy codes. Next, for the host field, you need the correct IMAP address for a specific email provider. You might simply search for example, Gmail IMAP host on Google to find your IMAP address. You copy and paste it over, enter a password, and voila, complete. Here, I already have a test email account connected as our example. Everything else stays the same. When the workflow runs to this point, it automatically reads the unread email and marks it as read. After we have set all the things up, we now can test it by running this step. Since we now have the email data, we need an information extractor step. This will extract the email content for us. Content includes who sent the email, for example, the company name. Then, we must describe what company name means to the AI model, so it understands we're grabbing the organization that's contacting us. Think of giving description to the LLM as explaining your idea to a friend. Since we're just labeling it as company name, we need to inform the AI model explicitly. Then it knows, oh, that's the piece of text I must capture and store under company name. Next, besides figuring out who sent the email, we also want to know what they want a code for. So we specify product in our instruction. We need to understand which product is being requested and in what quantity. We also need to describe it clearly. I've copied a snippet from a Word document I prepared, which I'll share later. In short, it says to capture all product names and corresponding quantities in a specific format so we can later split them up or work with them in Excel. We also mark it as required. Besides creating an information extractor, we need a model, specifically a large language model, like Llama, OpenAI, or whichever you prefer. Let's use OpenAI's chat model as an example. We also need to create new credentials here, requiring something called an API key. This key basically lets us call OpenAI's system behind the scenes, or provide the website link for you all to access. On the web page, what we need to do is simply log into your account, click Create New Secret Keys, and for example, name it Task. After that, it generates a key. Click, copy, paste it in, and you're good to go. Now, it shows that we successfully connected. I used a different account, but the process is the same. Let's go back to the interface and do a test run to see if this item can pass into our information extractor and produce an actual output. Great, it's analyzing. Let's see the output. There's an attribute called company name, plus another attribute called product quantity. For instance, we might see the company name listed as Delta Field Supplies Company, and then a product like cement type something 2,500 units, etc. etc. Perfect! That means they worked. Let's go back to the canvas. You can save your progress anytime so you don't lose anything. Next, now that we've successfully extracted the information, you want to organize it. We'll use the add field workflow to manually map the extracted output. We drag over the columns we want, and tada, it appears. We also need a field for product quantity, which shows up here. Everything else remains unchanged. Test this step, and just like that, the output is complete. Return to the canvas, and we see the success message. Alright, after finishing the add field step, we use a tiny bit of simple code to split up the extracted information. You can grab the code we provide. Essentially, it separates the product from its quantity and lines them up with the company name. Once this step is done, we might see, say, 57 items appear. We convert those into a file. Let's pick CSV as an example. We can see that the data was successfully grabbed, and we have a CSV. Go ahead, test it, it shows success. So when we open this file, we can see all the company names, items that requested, and extract the quantities in a neat little table. It's quite satisfying. Congratulations! We turned a cluttered email into a structured CSV, and no poor intern had to sit there copying and pasting all day.